Hello, good day, beautiful people. I am the Inspirational Lady Noble 365 Tarot. Welcome to my channel. I greatly appreciate you being here. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. I trust you'll love this vibe, and everything you need to know about me is in the description below. This could be past, present, or future, you or someone around you. So take what resonates and leave the rest for someone else. This is a general read. This is not a personal read. If you like a personal read, check out the description below, and I'll be happy to assist you with doing so. Keep in mind that tarot is a tool. It is not the final rule. So it's a good idea to have an empty cup when you're on Lady Noble's channel and you really want to see what's up. Okay? All are welcome on the channel and all contributions are highly appreciated. 1 second, ladies and gentlemen. First card that we're starting out is the energy of the Ten of Swords energy. The Ten of Swords energy, this person here is getting a tattoo. You could be someone who likes tattoos. You could do this for a living or as a hobby. You could be someone who likes them so well. Maybe you have a full sleeve on one arm. But with this Ten of Swords energy, this represents, being in sadness or some kind of pain. But in this energy here, this read, this Ten of Swords is speaking of someone who would like or wish they could take back the pain or sadness that they caused you. So as you see this person, looks like they could be coloring in this tattoo here. This is the energy collective of someone who has maybe disrespected you, maybe cheated on you, maybe they were unfaithful, maybe this was a relationship where someone was constantly just in that non-committal energy. But either way, this is the energy of someone having regrets that they didn't give the relationship a chance. Or this could also be the energy of a family or friend or an associate, someone that knows you. Maybe they were disrespectful towards you. Maybe you were lied on. Maybe your character was slandered. Maybe rumors were spreaded regarding you or about you. But someone's in regret with this Ten of Swords and they wish they could take it back. They wish they could change the situation. They understand the past is gone and time has moved on, but they wish that they could change what happened between the two of you. This could be something that caused you a lot of stress, a lot of sadness. This could be a romantic connection, a relationship, a separation, a divorce. This could be slander or gossip in a community amongst family, friends, or someone who doesn't know you personally, but they chose to make assumptions about you. So there's something about this person going into reflection mode, and they're going through a process of unlearning that, the way that they perceive people outside of them and their way of judging, has been truly and completely misinterpreted, and there has been a misunderstanding on how they receive the people around them in their world, in their atmosphere. So not only are they reflecting on how they've crossed you, collective, this person is reflecting on a lot of people that they have misjudged, or they have gossiped about or caused any harm to. This could be someone also who is a leader, a CEO, someone who works maybe on your job or in some kind of association that you're connected to, some kind of social group I'm getting. This could be a CEO, a manager, a supervisor. And this is someone who was very arrogant and haughty at a particular time and moment in their life. But they've had some experiences that has humbled them. It has showed them that, their way of perceiving life and treating people is just simply not okay. Okay. So this is the energy of someone, spirit is saying, who this person is. They have a very arrogant, haughty nature. And so maybe they're no longer in that position of management. There's been some things, I'm hearing multiple things that has happened to this person, and it has humbled them to the point they wish they could take some of these swords back, collective. You see all these swords, they wish they could remove them, but time has passed. It is what it is. The pain that you've endured, the suffering, you and other people whom they have wrongly crossed. Spirit is saying wrongly crossed. And when they took the actions towards you and these other people, they knew that they were wrong. It's one thing to not know any better, not be aware of the actions that you're taking against someone. But this person was fully aware, and their intentions were to disregard you. Their intentions was to sabotage your character. Their intentions was to maybe turn people against you or block you. I'm picking up someone blocking or hindering someone. So this could be someone on a job collective. Maybe you wanted to apply for a position. You've been waiting for a while, but every time you apply, you get pushback. Okay, this is someone, yeah, connected to some kind of large entity, company, group, or brand. Someone who has, like calling the shots, hire and fire kind of energy. And this person just made it hard for you. This could be a supervisor, a manager, every day you showed up at work, they made it hard for you. Okay, but those days are over. This person has been humble. With the Three of Pentacles, they're trying to gather themselves, and they're very not satisfied. So this person could be going through a spiritual awakening as well. They're not satisfied. The more they sit with themselves and reflect on their life, people they've hurt, they've crossed, they are in regret. This does not mean you have to forgive this person and start dealing with them, but you can forgive yourself and move on past it. This does not mean that you have to give them access to your life because they're feeling sad. This experience that they are going through, collective, is for them, and it's between them and the divine. This is about them and their journey here in life, and their stage of awakening is for them, and it's personal. Okay, so this doesn't mean you have to give this person excuse me, access into your life. It doesn't mean you have to invite them to dinner or contact them. They will find their way, Spirit is saying. So this is a positive thing, but they have been humbled. Some may be happy to hear that they are your enemies or your haters have been humbled, but they have been. This could have been financial. With the Four of Pentacles, they could have been possibly in a situation where maybe when you wanted to make that overtime, or you wanted to get that time and a half on a holiday, maybe you had someone blocking you from that. Maybe you had a supervisor who was blocking you from, I'm getting something about vacation. You would apply to put your vacation in. They would constantly deny it, just giving you a hard time at work. This person's been humble, and part of their humbling experience have been financial. So if this is someone who was very materialistic, known to have it all, every time you see them, they look like everything's in perfect place, known to live maybe a posh life, a very abundant life, they are no longer in this energy. They are now someone who basically a shift has taken place in their life. And so they're someone who's living check to check, where in the past you could have been the employee doing the best you can. Okay. And it happens. There's nothing wrong with that. Okay. Doing the best you can, paying the bills and whatever's left. Okay. But now they're on that end of the stick, and you could have moved on, and you're doing bigger and better things, and you're prospering in your life. Yes, I'm hearing this person has had several things occur. Okay. And if this is a romantic connection where someone has crossed you or not been honest with you, deceived you, caused you any pain or loss, the same thing. This person that was unfaithful to you, the person, I'm picking up someone was possibly dumped, left behind, or went through a separation where your spouse maybe left you or chose someone else over you. Well, that person that they chose had a lot of love to give, an overflow of love and prosperity and abundance, But the love and the abundance that they had to give, your partner, your ex, was not able to return the favor. So the pain that you experienced during the separation, maybe it was embarrassing for you. Maybe you felt humiliated, and I'm also hearing something about it caught you off guard. Your ex, they're paying for that. The person that they chose over you end up choosing someone else over them. So basically everything you experienced when they thought that they were gaining something by leaving you and choosing them, they were actually opening the door to their path of karma when it comes to love and relationships and romantically speaking. Some of these people may have even chose someone else over you and married that person. And Spirit is saying that marriage is not a happy marriage. At this time, that person is very unhappy and miserable, and that person is trying to gather themselves and regain their stability. Whoever this ex is, male or female, whether this is someone who chose someone else over you and married them, or they just chose someone over you and maybe they became living spouses or they began to date. The person that they chose was their entryway to their path of karma for how they treated you during your entire relationship. So there could have been a lot of infidelity. There could have been a lot of just betrayal in many ways, Spirit is saying. But this person is paying for that dearly. You may not have heard anything. For some of you, I'm picking up on energy of someone who keeps in touch with relatives of an ex or someone who caused you this pain. Maybe the family's not speaking of it, but your ex is going through a whole lot of karma and a whole lot of suffering. They're getting a chance to see what it feels like to be the fool, literally. Now, the fool card usually represents having courage, but in this reading, it's representing them being humiliated, embarrassed, heartbroken, sad, and depressed. So basically, the flip side of this reading here is whatever pain you've endured. Your haters, your enemies, your exes, whomever, they are enduring the same amount. Spirit is saying amount. Okay, so if you're someone who's went to a stage of depression or maybe grief for whatever reason, or embarrassment, or for, I'll say, maybe 2 to 3 years. Well, whoever caused you that pain, they're reaping what they put out, And as I have spoken on in many of my reads, what you put out will always return to you. That is law. And so we have free will each and every day, how we deal with our energy, what we choose to give our power and energy to. And so it's always a good idea to be mindful. No one is perfect of your projections and how you treat people. Being honest with yourself. If something isn't working, let that person know it isn't working. But rather than stay along for the ride and take somebody through there, you can take them through there. But trust and believe, that has to come back to you at one time or another. And these could be relationships and experiences of people crossing you, collective, that have happened several years ago, maybe 5, 8, 10, for some of you, 15 years ago, 20 years ago. These are people, and yes, that person that crosses your mind, that is one of them, collective, while you're watching this. Whoever pops up in your mind and your spirit while you're watching this, even though it's been a long time. The Karma Cafe is open 24/7. You never know when you're going to get your dish. And Spirit is conveying clearly, this is spiritual notification that they are reaping everything that they've put you through. But also in return, I'm picking up the reason these people are reaping what they, 2 reasons. What they put you through is, one, it's law, because it's what they put out towards you. It's what they sent you through. So in return, they're receiving it. But also the second reason is, a lot of you watching, 99.999% of you watching this video, you are actually doing work on yourself. You're progressing in your life in a positive way. You're doing healing work. You're doing the forgiving work. You've moved past what these people have put you through. You have not forgotten, but you have found a way to positively change your pain into pleasure, your salt into sugar. And so that is the sauce, boss, right there, that has really assisted in shifting, and helping this person. Really, they kicked the door in. They kicked the karmic door in for them to walk this path when they chose to deceive you or mistreat you, or cheat on you, or if somebody stole from you. I'm picking that up also. You may be someone that people have stolen from you. This could be an inheritance. This could be someone cheating you out of money. I'm picking up someone, maybe you've had a landlord or someone you've rented property from who maybe did some fraudulent business with you or cheated you out of money and assets. Even if I haven't named the person who has slandered you or crossed you, trust and know they are receiving it. So I was speaking earlier about someone keeping in touch with family members of an ex who put them through it. This family member is not going to let you know, but your ex is going through a lot. Because you keep in touch, they're not going to let you know because it's family. And you don't even have to, you don't want to know, because I'm letting you know. So they don't have to tell you. It's okay. But keep moving on the path that you're on, because I'm speaking to a group of people. At this time, you're focused on yourself. As I mentioned, these are incidents that could have happened 5 years ago, 8 years ago, 10 years ago, 15, 20 years ago. Like these are people who you're most likely not thinking about. You're over them. You've moved on. You have a whole new life. Okay. I heard somebody say, I got a whole new wife. Okay. Male or female, you have a lot of other things going on, but they still are reaping what they put out towards you. So Spirit wants you to continue doing what you're doing, staying focused on you. And no, we don't have to sit with a looking glass to watch anyone receive their karma. Nature takes care of its own. That's the fun fact about life here on planet Earth. So we have the Page of Wands energy. So you're out having fun. You're out exploring life. You could be someone who's very active. You're not you're not in the energy of being frazzled or being worried. You're being very enthusiastic about life. You could also be someone who's very active, like physically. Maybe you love to gym, you love to work out, maybe you run, you jog. You could do a lot of leisure activities that cause physical involvement. You can have a very nice physique, male or female. You're very handsome or beautiful, whoever you are. You're working on your wellness, your well-being. You are not holding on to this energy of the Ten of Wands. You have chosen many years ago to release this burden. Yes, it was painful, it was hurtful. And the fun fact about life here on planet Earth, I got to share with you. When people are crossing you collective and they're putting you through pain or sadness, whether it's someone cheating on you, whether it's someone stealing from you, whether it's someone at work bothering you, this could be anything, family, friends, okay? They don't understand the law. What you put out will come back to you, spiritually speaking. And so it's like they have a wild key while they're in motion of taking these actions. It's funny to them, it's humorous to them, and you're left with feeling sadness and in your emotion and pain about what's been done. But the fun fact is when you project this energy intentionally onto people, be prepared while you're laughing for it to return. And you never know when it's coming because the Karma Cafe is always open. Yeah, 24 hours, 24 hours. And sometimes it could come for you or someone else around you. So there's something to really be careful with. It can come for you or someone else around you. So that's why I speak on that. I'm embellishing in that message because it's very important to know that, and Spirit wants you to know that. You're doing wonderful. You've moved past this. Stay focused on yourself. But yes, if you've been wondering, did that ninja that so and so, yes, they're getting their fair share, and a lot of these people are in your face and they're going to keep it secret. This could be a family member, who have stolen from you or maybe try to gather with other people to sabotage you. Something about a custody battle, someone trying to take someone's children, maybe because they want their check or employment, or I don't know. They want their government assistance benefits, or I'm picking up all kind of energy of betrayal, family, friends, lovers, doing things to hurt people, to sabotage people, to cause division, something about a court case, a custody case. Those people are reaping theirs. Okay. So you want to always do your best. You want to make sure that you are planting seeds and things that will develop that you can reap later, things that are fruitful. You want to plant seeds that are fruitful. No one is perfect. But in this life, no one knows when it's their time to perish. Some do, but that's another video. From here, from planet Earth, to transition to another realm. But while you're here, you want to make sure that you're stable, able, and fully capable. So that's why it's important. They're telling you to repeat, to be mindful of the energy you project. Even your thoughts about people. People feel that if they're not saying it out loud, that it's not felt and it can't impact their life. It can. There's a difference. It can impact your life. Just because you did not say it out loud doesn't mean that Spirit doesn't know, that you're thinking something negative, about a particular person, or you're wishing or hoping for their downfall. So I always encourage, as a parental figure, my child to be mindful of your words and your thoughts because they matter. They really do matter. And it's not about what you believe in. If you're someone watching this video and you're thinking, well, I don't believe in it. It's not that's not true. I don't believe in it. Well, that's not how it works. You have free will to think what you want. But the things, if you're going to say because I don't believe in it, it doesn't work, well, have fun with that. Have fun with that. We have the seven of swords energy here. Okay, so this is energy of uncertainty. So these people are going through a lot of illusions and uncertainty. Maybe they've put you through some kind of energy of anxiety, of you feeling insecure or not sure of yourself, or like I said, maybe you want to pick up overtime or cash in your vacation, or and this person could have at your job blocked you or made excuses, trying to hinder you in every way that they could. They have to pay for this. The same illusion and uncertainty you were feeling in the past, they are going through it. As I mentioned earlier, Spirit is saying they are going through a couple of things, not one, not two things. There's a lot going on. It's happened repetitively. And for whatever time period it has taken you to overcome the sadness or this pain that this person put you through, even though you're over, if it took you 5 years, they're going to go through it for 5 years. If it took you 2 years, they're going to go through it for 2 years. Okay. And so it could be them or someone around them. You never know where the karma may land. You never know where that projection that you sent out, where it's going to shoot back. You never know. So yeah, because it doesn't always happen like that. It could come and return to someone else around you. Okay. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so we have the Knight of Swords energy, and the Knight of Swords is ambition, okay, single-minded. So you have a lot of ambition, a lot of courage. You have confidence. You love who you are. You love life. You've been through some things, but you have not allowed yourself to succumb to those circumstances. You've chosen to rise above, okay? And so Spirit wants you to keep that energy going. Moving forward in life, as I mentioned, life is not perfect for anyone. We go through experiences to challenge us, but to enhance us, to make us grow, to make us smarter, and to make us stronger, okay? It creates a sort of resilience with the high priestess here. Taking that knowledge, as I mentioned earlier, changing your pain into pleasure, your salt into sugar. Taking knowledge over time and applying it equals wisdom. And so with the high priestess here, this is someone who is very wise, have a lot of obtained wisdom, as this person holds the scroll here, with sacred information and knowledge in it. Okay. And so there are some things that are so sacred. You see the Heka is covered here in this picture. And so, yes, so you've gained a lot of wisdom, a lot of knowledge, spiritually speaking. You could be very intuitive as well. This could be something that you keep to yourself. True intuitive people do not going around saying, I'm intuitive, I'm psychic, I'm clairaudient. I'm just saying you can do what you want, but those who are really tap to tap, 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 dancing in their energy, they don't go around announcing their gifts and showing you and telling you all of who they are. Not out of fear, just out of it's really a waste of time. It's really a waste of time to go around, I believe in this and I have this gift. And it's really, because you're on a different frequency. This person, you understand, collective, you're on a different frequency. You're on a whole different page than the people around you. So with that being said, you could be someone, you're so much of a different vibe, very beautiful spirit, very spiritually connected. Um, you may not be into any religious practices, but you are into spirituality, whomever you are. This portion is for someone Pacific. And people know that there's something about you. They feel your godly presence. They feel they feel your authenticity. They feel your aura when you are around. There are a lot of people who also trust in you, whoever you are. You could have total strangers and people like confiding in you or coming to you with information, just wanting you to listen to them. That's because they see your light. They understand, why your Heka is wrapping. You hold the scroll here. You have the wisdom and the knowledge. They understand who you are without you saying or announcing. And so again, it's not that you're hiding that you're intuitive and you have many gifts and abilities. It's that you understand that the people in the world around you are not on the same frequency as you. It doesn't mean that you're better than anyone. It means that specifically, whoever this portion of the reading is for, you know who you are, and you have a firm understanding about energy, and you do a lot of work on yourself, and Spirit is saying keep it going because you're gaining more and more wisdom, and it's making it easier for you to identify who is for you and who isn't for you. So a good example of this is maybe someone maybe wanting to talk about something that you just know doesn't matter to you. This could be religion, this could be politics, this could be clothing brands, the latest gym shoe. This could be anything that that you don't care about or is not concerning for you. We all live different lives, so what's important to one person isn't important to another. So you're likely to get into a conversation with someone about these topics, and the other person will go into rage, escalate their voice, get angry, and you're likely to go into the thinker pose, like go silent, and you're likely to go into observation. This is very specific for somebody watching, and so people may look at you and may call you weird, but no, it's not that you're weird. You're actually very wise. You know, what matters to you in your personal life matters to you, and that's okay. And what matters to other people matters to them, and that's okay. So you're not someone to entertain arguments, spats, petty disagreements, Spirit is saying. You know, if you were to see someone go into rage or become upset, you're likely just to look at them and go into the thinker pose. Okay, that's hilarious. That's for somebody Pacific. Okay, yeah, because you could have some things about you that people could be. You know, you've been through a lot as well, as this reading is about people receiving their karma who have crossed and betrayed you. The whole idea of you being in the energy of the high priestess and withholding this information, and your Heka is protected. That is representing you being protected on your path and on your mission. So you could be someone where people try, how can I say this? Where you're constantly put into environments, collective, where people try to constantly, I'll say it like this, figure out what you're holding in your hand. Or they may start a conversation or some gossip in your neighborhood, in your family, on your job, in a social group. Oh, why is the collective throat always wrapped? Oh, they must have wrinkles, or they must be hiding something. You know, there could be a lot of assumptions about how you present yourself. It's because the people around you, they're not on your frequency. They're not on your vibration. They would never understand even if you took the time to explain. And that's why you don't, because that's a principle that those who know. It's just something you don't do. You know, you're not going to cast your pearls among swine. You will not cast your pearls among swine. If those people are around you are choosing to stay comfortably sleep on their pillow, you respectfully allow them to be there, because everyone, as I always remind, they're going to go through their own awakening in their own timing. And it's different for all of us. We're all different people. There's a reason why we're individually, uniquely, divinely created. We come into ourselves, our awakening and our self-awareness and what our purpose is on our own timing. There is no patterning. There is no there is no pattern to study. No two people are going across the street at 12 noon to have lunch. Somebody's going to wait till 1:30. Somebody might try to go at 11:45. I'll put it like that. Okay. So yeah, you understand who you are. And they're having me stay on that card because though you've overcame a lot, they want you to know, this is confirmation that you are protected and you're on the right path, and for you to keep doing what you are doing. Trust and believe, no matter who you are or what your goal or your passions is or your dreams, there's going to always be an energy of someone who's not in agreement. That energy is meant to be here. The light and the dark needs each other. The negative and the positive needs each other. That's how we learn lessons. That's how we grow. So these circumstances that you are constantly put in, they're saying you're like constantly put in these environments around people who aren't on your frequency. They're asleep. They're unawakened. These are people who are they're sheeple. I'm just gonna say it, they're sheeple. They're followers. Okay, and you walk in the room without saying anything. You could just say, "Hello, everyone. How are you?" And they immediately, they want to growl at you, or you may have people just rolling their eyes at you, just being rude for no reason. This is why. It is your energy. It is your power. This is the high priestess here. They know who you are without you saying. They know who you are, collective, without you saying, okay? They know that you have already earned your rite of passage. Your energy with the Queen of Cups, your energy is so strong and so anointed and so powerful. They know that you have earned your rite of passage. Anyone who sits on a throne has put in some work. There's been some sweat, there's been some tears, there's been some energy, some work applied. And they know who you are. They know that you're intuitive. They know that you are very a compassionate human being. You have a heart, but you're very mindful because of all the healing you have been through, all the restructuring you have done in your life. You're very mindful, and you're supposed to be. You're not supposed to be, out here all willy-nilly, as I like to say. You're supposed to have boundaries. You're supposed to pick and choose who you allow in your life. And everyone does not need to see. I got to hold it up. You do not need to remove your scarf. Everyone does not need to know the information that you hold, because it's not for them. When it's time for them to go on their awakening, on their journey, they will come into their own and whatever is right for them at their time. Do not allow anyone to interrogate you or anyone to try to poke and pry you. I'm also picking up that people try to use, someone could be getting a reading on you, but they're being told information that is not real for your protection. So if someone is getting a reading on you, collective, they're being misled, and not because the reader is false, it's part of your protection. So, you got to be careful when you choose to pry in spiritual spaces and places. You never know who folks are connected to. So for your protection, your spirit team, and Archangel Michael is present as well. And I'm hearing Oshun as well. You're being protected. And so what they're trying to do is not going to work. It won't work. They're trying to pry in spaces and places where they don't belong. Okay. And so also, as I'm saying that, you could also have an ex, this person that's receiving this karma, who wants to know, what is it? How did the collective do it? How did they overcome what I put them through? I took them through there. I sent this for them. I sent that. Everything I tried didn't work. So this same person, one of your exes, for some of you, or a family member or a friend or whomever crossed you, they're trying to figure you out and they can't. They're being given false information for a reason. Yeah. And that's because they're prying where they're not supposed to pry. There's rules. There's many rules, spiritually speaking, on many levels that needs to be honored and shall not be crossed. And because there's a repercussion for that. That's a whole nother video. Okay. So we're going to move on to the Four of Wands. Okay. And so, as the Four of Wands here, I think this is called henna or Hannah. Am I pronouncing it right? But if not, anyway, anywho, you could be someone who's involved in some kind of new, I mentioned spiritual or cultural practice or belief, or you're trying new ideas, new ways of showing up. You're showing up different already. As I spoke about your aesthetics, you could be someone who works out a lot. You're taking care of your skin. You're taking care of your health. You're doing a lot of trying new things, maybe things you weren't likely to do in the past, or things that people are not doesn't likely know you to do. You're trying those things. Maybe you always wanted to go bungee jumping, and people who maybe grew up with you, like, the collective would never go bungee jumping. Yeah, right. Yeah, you've probably done it maybe more than once, maybe you like to zip line, skydive, this could be anything. Maybe you're into surfing now, and maybe people in your family never surfed at all, but this is an interest of yours. So you're taking up new interests, new hobbies. And the Four of Wands is celebrating as well, celebrating and just having a great time, being comfortable, celebrating your stability, celebrating your growth, and being celebrated with people who are on your vibration. You do have your own, I'm picking up collective, you have your own group of friends or your own clique or whatever that you socialize with. And they're different from people who you entertained in the past. These are a much different caliber of people. These are people who, I'm just going to say, they have something going on. Okay. Maybe in the past you were dealing with people who felt like they had nothing to lose. And it could be very dangerous and risky when you hang around or deal with people who feel like they have nothing to lose. If they feel they have nothing to live for, then, a desperate person will do desperate things. And so, on this new timeline, the friend group that you deal with now, these are people who have things going on in their life personally. These are people who have confidence. They love themselves. They have a lot of positive energy and progress. They have things working and moving. They got motion. They got motion. They're not sitting and waiting and twiddling their thumbs. They have a schedule. They have a life that they love. Okay. And as I always mention, you can tell if a person loves themselves, by what they entertain and how they present themselves, and what they respond to. You can tell if a person really, truly loves themselves. You can do that by observation. You don't even have to ask a question. And you are dealing with people who love themselves and they love life, and therefore they can have love for you in return. They are supportive when they see you progress. They are happy to see you win. These aren't people to get jealous or envious or want to sleep with your partner. Maybe there were people in the past who crossed you and hurted you, collective, by trying to date who you date. Okay. I'm picking up you. Maybe you had a parental figure for some of you, a mother or a father who wanted to date who you were dating. Okay. That's for somebody Pacific. Take what resonates, leave the rest for someone else. Or you had a cousin or a sibling or a friend who wanted to compete. There are people who will pretend to be your friend and they're actually just watching to monitor you and compete with you. And that's because that's an insecure person. And so these new group of people, they want to see you in love. They want to see you happy and dating. They're not coming to you gossiping and saying, oh, guess what I heard about your man and I seen him. They're not bringing none of that negative energy. If anything, they're inviting you over. Hey, we're going out. You want a double date? Hey, it's couples night. Come over to the house. That kind of energy. If you're starting a business, they're going to support you and support your brand. They don't feel like if they light your candle that their flame personally in their life will blow out, because some people feel that way. They will know you have something going on, but they feel like if they support you, that they'll blow their own flame out, like it will hurt them, And so reality is that when you are successful and you have great things going on, many people will affirm this. It will be total strangers and outsiders who will support you and be the most positive influence. If you're not saying you're looking for that, but they will give you positive influence and encouragement and who will support you. Doesn't matter what you're doing, who will root for you. Not saying that you need it, but it will be strangers, people you don't know who will bless you in many ways. Okay. Yeah, so remain optimistic about your present as well as your future, because the Eight of Swords is over. This is people you no longer socialize and deal with. These are the family members you no longer talk to. These are your exes. Okay. All right, all your exes live in Texas. Okay. That somebody said that, so it's part of the read. Look here. They're trying to figure it out, They're trying to figure it out. So much going on. So much going on. Okay, they're confused, they're disheveled, and they want to know how, There is a God. Yes, the spirit is real. That's how. Okay. So many people play. They play with the word. They play with love. They play with the word. They play with source. They play with the divine. Energy is real. The spirit is real. That's how the collective made it. That's how they overcame. That's how they healed. That's why they're going to continue to be successful. You have to be mindful of the energy that you put out. Okay. That's how this transformation has taken place. You may have Scorpio placement somewhere in your chart, sun, moon, or rising, or somewhere in your birth chart. But this is representing a transformation. Maybe you've had an ego death as well. Okay. Things changing in your life. Okay. Some of you could be doing a burning bowl ritual. Okay. I'm picking up on that as well. Okay. Or maybe spirit is saying maybe you need to do one. Okay. That's coming up in the read as well. Yeah. Eight of Cups. This is you leaving it all behind. Leaving it all behind. You surrendered and walked away a long time ago. A long time ago. Okay. And you continue to do the work. You didn't return. Some people, they may be in an unhealthy situation, but sometimes folks leave and return. They bust a Yui. They bust a Yui. They hop right back on the freeway, bust a Yui and go right back to it. But you didn't bust a Yui. You kept going. You was like, look, I don't know where, but I'm trusting God. I'm trusting that there's something better than what I'm leaving behind. You like, I know all I got is these dirty cups and this t-shirt, but guess what? I'm throwing all this away. And when I get where I'm going, it's going to be much better than here. So let me clean up. Let me clean up. Let me remove some people, places, and things out of my life that does not belong. And the more that you did that, metaphorically speaking, the momentum began to increase and things began to open up for you and expand for you in a positive way. So continue to stay focused on yourself and keep doing what you are doing. You are winning. You are winning. Okay? Yes. Being consistent. As I was just saying, the momentum began to increase and it continued to increase for you. And things began to expand for you. It doesn't happen overnight. It takes time. Those who know. You know, it takes time to do the healing work. The healing work is a lifelong journey, but it is a journey that one would be grateful and thankful to be on. To go through the process because you learn about how strong you are. You learn about how wise you are. You learn about your gifts. You learn about your purpose. You learn about all the intricate parts of your existence. You learn these things and it's very encouraging. It inspires you to just keep going and keep going and keep growing and keep growing. That's why they say don't focus on the time, and you get a chance to reflect, on the tower moments. Maybe you were someone where people threw you out of their home. Maybe you needed somewhere to live and people turned their back on you. This could be family, friends, woman, man, side piece, two piece. I don't know, somebody you dated. Okay, somebody saying a trick. A trick. Oh boy, maybe you were staying with somebody that used to pay for it. And maybe they wanted to throw you out, but now they are experiencing all those hardships. Basically, life is a bowl of cherries. You can eat them as you want. But the bowl that they're eating from, it is not pretty. It is not pretty. And that's why they're in reflection mode. As I was mentioning earlier, they are in reflection mode, sitting and thinking about everything they put you through, everything that they laughed at. That's keep coming up. Somebody was so bold and diabolical. They were laughing. They knew you were hurting. They knew you were in pain, but they were laughing at you. But guess what? They are no longer laughing now. It's not so funny now, collective. It's not funny no more. To them, it's not funny. To them, it's not funny. And they're thinking, like, wow, I got to change my ways. I got some work to do. I can't believe I did that. I could have did that a better way. It's okay to break up with someone. It's nothing wrong with it. Just simply let them know it ain't working. Same thing for employment. If they felt that you didn't cut the job or the description, all they have to do is call you in the office and have a talk with you. Maybe we need to work on you completing your job. You're not working fast enough, or how can we help you do better at this company? Whatever you went through that I mentioned or I didn't mention. All people have to do is just be honest and talk to you. They don't have to, it's a choice to tap into this energy. It's a choice to try to project this onto people. And all while they were doing it, it was funny to them. They collaborated with other people also. People they didn't like, the only thing they had in common is that they didn't like you. So they collaborated with folks. This could be family members, friend, whomever. Yeah. But the fun fact, they didn't know that they was just building more karma for them to endure. For them to endure. So we have the Knight of Wands here. And the Knight of Wands is upside down. This is setbacks, arrogance, recklessness, setbacks. They are experiencing setbacks. It's upside down. I hope you can see that there. Yeah, that's the Knight of Wands there. Upside down, they're experiencing setbacks. Put that in the middle up here on the 3. They're trying to gather. They're trying to plant. They're trying to, and basically, I'm also picking up There's someone who was in your life who had some kind of hustle going. I'm just going to say hustle. Just put it to your imagination. They had some kind of hustle going, collective. And whatever this hustle was, it was very lucrative. It was good. I mean, the money was flowing. Okay, the money was flowing, and they were very arrogant. They were very nasty towards you. That is gone. There is no more hustle. There is no let me go do this to do that. There is no more lucrative hustle. There is no more money flowing like water. They don't know. They don't know what this is. This is an overflow of abundance and love and newness. They don't know what this is. They have not seen this. They have not seen this. Okay, they're here. They're here. Okay, they don't know what the overflow is. Okay, so that hustle has stopped. So that quick, easy way that they were making money or able to maybe afford certain things. This could also be family members. Maybe you had a relative or something who passed judgment on you, or maybe it's not a family member. It could be somebody that know you, or it could be somebody that think they know you. Maybe they passed judgment on you for the life choices that you have made, which is your business, not theirs. Okay, maybe where you live, what you drive. Maybe they made fun of, maybe they say, "Oh, you're on government benefits. You're broke." Maybe they made fun of you. Okay, this is part of the reading collective. It's all coming up here. The same person who made fun of you, who was arrogant towards you, who gossiped about you, maybe they accuse you of not being a good parent. Whatever. They could have said your big toe is bigger than the rest of your toes, and it's supposed to be. But either way, they are no longer in the energy that they were in. Okay, they are going through a lot of suffering, a lot of setbacks, a lot of setbacks. They are being humbled. They are being humbled. You know, we are constantly in the energy of change. Evolution is always happening. Metamorphoses are happening. You should never be too haughty. Be yourself, but don't be haughty. You don't have to be arrogant. Nobody's entitled to give or do anything, but it's the way you move about. And I'm picking up on energy of someone who was very nasty and just arrogant towards you, collective, and many other people. They are no longer arrogant. Now, if they made fun of you for being on welfare or government benefits, the same person could be applying for government benefits as we speak. The same person who didn't want to give you a place to live, maybe you needed 5 days until you pick up your key to your new place, because that happens sometime. You need somewhere to go in between time, in the meantime, not to live forever, maybe for a day or two. They're in that energy where they're looking for somewhere to live, because somebody is saying, no, you got to get out right now. You got to get out. No, we don't want to see you win. We want to see you lose. Here, catch your clothes. I'm about to throw a gym shoe down. Look out. They're going through that same energy, collective. The wheel of fortune. You did not bust a Yui. What did I say? I said most people get in situations and they bust a Yui. They hop on a freeway, do that U-turn, and go right back to that bad connection or bad situation. You kept going, and look at the wheel of fortune. Things are turning in your favor. This represents protection here. And the wheel is turning in your favor. Okay? So you can go straight ahead and you're not blocked at all. Your spirit team, your ancestors, they're standing on the sides of those barricades and preparing to move. And that's why your hand up like, y'all see me? They like, hold on, we got you. You ain't got to hit the horn that many times. We got you. Yes. But still people are wondering and they're trying to figure it out. How is it? How is it that the collective was able to overcome? How is it that the collective was able to walk away? How is it that they're happy? How is it that they're content? How is it that they're at peace, that they're wealthy, that they're successful? How is it that they're now in a loving relationship? How is it? Because there is really a God. See, some people like to shout and they like to Bible thump and, and mimic verses and all this, but it's real. God is real. The energy is real. His presence is real. It's a real thing. That's how the collective done it. That's how they did it. Stop playing. And this is you receiving your rewards, being celebrated, celebrating success, accomplishments, victory. I'm hearing somebody celebrating having a peace of mind. I heard that. Somebody said I'm celebrating a peace of mind. You celebrating having a peace of mind. I know that's right. That is a win. Because if you don't have peace, you don't have nothing at all. You can't enjoy anything without having peace in your mind. And there are very few, while we're on that topic, who have conquered or will conquer having peace. And I'm speaking of genuine, real, authentic peace, not the pretending peace. Not taking a picture and posting it online, I'm out of town. No. Because anybody can do that. Whether you max out a credit card, take out some loans or a bunch of interest, anybody can do that. But real peace is within. It's not from the things outside of you, it's within you. That's what peace is. It's part of your authentic nature. It doesn't have to be activated by materialism. It doesn't have to be activated by following trends or going along to get along or doing what everybody else do or moving how they move. It's not activated through seeking validation and acceptance. That's how you get your peace. So we have the Ace of Swords. You found clarity, true clarity. And so with the High Priestess here, evidently there was a moment where you separated yourself and you also went into the hermit mode. The hermit is not out here. I wouldn't be shocked if it comes out. But you had your moment of separation and also isolation and solitude. And isolation and solitude, I'm not talking about physical. I'm talking about spiritual and mental. You made your mind up to block out and surrender what does not serve you. Because we cannot control people. We can't control ourselves. We do have a choice of what we give our energy and power to. Each and every day that you open your eyes, you can pick and choose. Am I going to be grateful or am I going to focus on everything I don't like? It's a choice. It's really a choice each and every day. King of Wands, self-confidence, leadership. This is you. You're very outspoken. You speak in your mind in the right way. What you see is what you get energy. There's nothing pretend about you. And life is more comfortable that way, isn't it? Not seeking validation. Life is more easy when you are yourself. Life is easy. When you putting on pretending, it can be quite stressful. Ask a player. A player will let you know it's stressful. Juggling lies and lifestyles and lying about where you're at, and then you got to keep it going. Ask a player. They'll tell you it's stressful. But being yourself and just being honest with yourself about who you are and where you want to be, and it is what it is, it's much peaceful and it's easier. Life is easier that way. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Yeah. And so we have the Page of Pentacles. And so the Page of Pentacles is you being determined to seek new opportunities. Even though you've been through a lot, out of all the things we've spoken about, you continue, whoever you are, you continue to be curious and determined. You knew that there were always more than what meets the two human eyes. You knew that there's always more behind the curtain. You knew that you know that you have a divine purpose. And it was time for you to go higher. It's time for you to step into your power. And for some of you, I'm going to say you've done this with no guidance. And I'm not talking about the divine. I'm talking about guidance in the physical. You've done this with no guidance. There are many people that say things can be done without guidance. I have a poetry in my archives called No Guidance. You should go check it out. I have a piece of poetry I created straight from the dome. It's called Without Guidance or No Guidance. You should check it out. But there's a lot of things that can be done without guidance. Everyone is different. People receive pain different. People, deal with the pressures of life in different ways. But there are things that can be done, whether you are supported or not, whether you have a family that's supporting or not, whether you have siblings who support you or not, or friends. There are people who do things by themselves. It's nobody but them and God. Them and God. Them and the Christ within. The essence. The spirit. There are people, who go to college and get their PhD, their master degree. There are successful people. People become wealthy, world renowned, or it doesn't matter. Just living their best life, being happy. And you can make progress even without guidance. Now, that takes a whole different kind of mindset, and it takes work to get there, to have the perception to see yourself rising above whatever you're enduring that you consider to be hard or difficult. But there are a lot of positive, beautiful, prosperous things, abundance that one can experience and accumulate without guidance. Without guidance. It can be done. Yep. But far as what I see here is you're doing a wonderful job. This is just confirmation, not a coincidence, that if you have been wondering that person, so-and-so, so-and-so is not doing great. And no, you're not focused on that because, you're on a higher frequency than that. You're better than that collective, and you're focused on other things that need your attention at this time. So, they're reaping what they sowed. Doesn't matter how many years back it went, They thought they were choosing the right one. Whoever chose someone over you, they actually chose the wrong one because that person done the same thing they did to you, to them. If this was a person who stayed out all night and didn't come home repeatedly, well, when they got in that relationship, they went through the same thing. If this is a person that just cheated a lot, well, they went through the same thing. If this is a person who was stingy with their money, that person did the same thing. I could go on and on. If they were terrible lover in the bedroom, because people stay in situationships where they don't even get no euphoria. They don't get a climax. They don't get a fleeting moment. Ooh, that's a whole nother video. Ooh, but it happens. They got with that person. They thought it was good. No, it's good at the beginning when you creep in, when you sneak in, or you think you're doing something. But once you locked in and they chose them over you, yeah, the bedroom action was lame too. At the same time, the bedroom action was lame too. It's coming up and it's here, and I'm going to say it. Okay? They could be watching. Some of your exes could be watching us. And they could be like, hell yeah, that show was whack. I missed the collective. This concludes the read. I trust and hope this issue for your highest good. Later.